ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Tuesday. I hope you guys had a good Monday and that your weekend was good as well. So it took a little bit of time to connect for tonight's live stream, but we got there in the end. As for gremlins happening beforehand, none have happened yet, so we'll see how we get on as we progress throughout the live stream. So I can see you guys in the live chat room. Hello to you. Let's give some of you a shout out. We've got Karen Joe, Angela, Hermes, Billy, oh that's Sue, Billy, Pig Thistle, Alison, Bob, Ro, Daisy, Laura, and then it's gone through too quickly to catch any more names. And I'm just seeing the top chat, so not even all of the chat, and it's moving really quickly. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. As you come through the door, if you could hit the thumbs up, that would be great and very much appreciated, because they are very important for the live streams in order to get us to our likes goal, which tonight is set at a nice round 500, which means hopefully it'll be easy for me to work out how many we need and all that kind of stuff later on. And I can see that the like commenter's gone walkabout a little bit, so let's grab it and put it back there. And we're almost halfway, 16 away from needing 250, which means we need 266. So there you go, there's a bit of early maths for you. So yeah, if you could hit the thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be great. We are going to be having, if we hit that target, FilJam number 175. So we are really getting through them, but let me get the names of my patrons up on screen as well, because they make this all possible in the first place. You know who you are, and thank you guys for all of your support over on Patreon and just making everything that I do on the channel possible. As I always say, they are the foundation of everything. So we also have had a donation from Paul that's just popped in there, so thank you for that, Paul. So let's get the donations tab up on screen, because I think it's important that you know, if you are donating, you don't have to donate, just watching is great. But for those people that do donate, I think it's important that they know between 45 and 60% goes to YouTube through the super chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal through the PayPal link, and you can find one of those in the description below. But just watching is great. So just for music says your vids just get better and better. Phil, just on fire lately. Thank you for all your hard work. So thank you for the kind words and for watching the videos, of course. And I think pretty much the videos are just the same thing, especially the analysis videos. I just do the same thing with every analysis video. But maybe more recently it's been touching on topics that people, I don't know, find a little bit more controversial, or not even controversial, because it just is what it is. But maybe the reaction to the videos, where people don't know that something's going on and don't know that miming's going on and all that kind of stuff. But the analysis videos are just objective, as they always are, and we just see what we can see. So thank you, Paul, for that donation, by the way. Let me just quickly address that, because Paul donated $5 and says 419,000 subscribers. Fantastic. Everyone have fun tonight. Please spike the likes tonight. All y'all rock. So thank you for that, Paul, and great idea. 419,000 subscribers. I think we were on 418,000, so I'm gonna have to do maybe a little bit of adjustment on this. I can't even see where the thing is. Okay, right, I'm gonna have to click on this button, and it is 418,000 is what I typed in. So now I've got to try and find where this layer is in order for me to change it. So hang on, was it 400? Oh, it is 419. There you go. So 419,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing and hitting the notification bell. And yeah, you will have to do that in order to get notified for all of the videos and the live streams. So yeah, that's great, and it's a crazy number. Yeah, so last time we were at what, 417,000, something like that. But yeah, it's a very nice audience to have, and we'll keep on pushing forward and see where we end up. So let's make everybody quiet. Get that off screen. Tortoro Porco's just donated $5. Thank you for that. And the message is, the fact that your subscriber count keeps going up shows that most people appreciate your honesty. So, yeah, thank you for that. I always say honesty is the best policy. But I'm not sure that everybody... Well, I was going to say, I don't think everybody agrees with that. But... I don't know. I think it always is, because then at least no matter what it is, if you're just honest about it, then people know, and then people can deal with that information, and you can deal with that information because it's out there, and then you can move on. But having something that is out there and then is something that it actually isn't, and especially when you might be selling a product off the back of what you're saying, and then what you're saying isn't actually what you're saying, yeah, it gets really complicated, because the problem is, and I would even still say that no matter how deep the hole is, if you just be honest, then even though the hole is deep, there's a way out of that just with honesty. That's the only way to get out of it. But trying to get out of the hole by going even deeper, yeah, at some point you get to such a depth that, yeah, you're never going to be able to get out. Or alternatively, you get so deep you come out on the other side of the world at the bottom of the ocean, and you don't want to be there. So yeah, I always think honesty is the best policy. But obviously, you know, some people just, I don't know, double down and go the opposite way, which yeah, is never going to end well. But anyway, moving on. Oh, Advert is trying to get involved, but thank you for that, Tortoro Porco, that donation. There have been some donations over in the PayPal window, so thank you guys for those as well. And just to make sure I don't miss any here, let me click on this, and here it is Cindy that has donated £50. Thank you for that, Cindy. And the message is, hi Phil, I loved your Queen analysis from Sunday. Usually you show that pitch correction is being used to fix a problem that doesn't exist, but this time you showed that there was another way to address the problem using a little imagination and having some respect for the original artist's integrity. Do you think they focus too much on the instrumentation in remixing at the expense of Freddie's vocals? Thanks. So thank you for that. And since that video, I've spoken with multiple industry professionals who've seen that video, and they agree with me that they can't understand how the production team haven't spotted that it wasn't a Freddie Mercury singing issue, it was a tape playback issue, that Freddie was singing along to something that was just running a little bit slowly. So yeah, I don't know what they were focusing on, because focusing on the instrumentation in the remix, they haven't really done much to that. I mean, they're not, you know, quantizing drums or pitch correcting, you know, Brian May's guitar parts, anything like that. So they haven't really done a lot to it, but they have absolutely massacred Freddie Mercury's voice by pitch correcting it note by note, rather than spotting that it isn't a problem, like what he's laid down in the studio. And as the annoying thing about that video is that I actually edited it 8 times. And this is the thing about doing these videos, is that sometimes your videos will just either get blocked or get copyright claimed, and they'll be telling you to remove bits of audio, because what I have done and what I did as part of my analysis is, all I did was just adjust it, just adjust the instrumentation to the speed that the tape was playing back in the studio. So now Freddie's version, or his vocal, is now sounding different to the version that they're releasing, because I'm keeping his voice exactly the same as it was, but just bringing the instrumentation in line with his voice. So yeah, it is effectively a new version that I've come up with, but of course, as soon as you do that, you know, the video, you know, gets copyright claimed and copyright blocked, and I can't get the video out there. So what's happened is, I had to do tiny bits. I mean, I would love to be able, obviously it's not legally possible, but I would love to be able to release a version of the song that isn't pitch corrected, so that Freddie Mercury's voice is just as it was. But yeah, unfortunately, because it is the song, that's not possible. So we just have to deal with, what they've done to Freddie's voice. But yeah, it is a real shame that that's kind of what they've focused on, is just really pitch correcting everything, and it wasn't even required in the first place. So yeah, with that video I had to do it in such tiny sections. Obviously I've got the whole song with Freddie Mercury's original voice on there, sounding great with the backing, but I can't upload it. So yeah, a bit of a shame. But I think, like I said in that video, if I were in charge of the remixing and, maybe they remastered it as well, but releasing it now as a box set, and this is the thing I said in that video, that I hope they haven't done this to other songs, but if I were in charge of it, I would go through every song like I did with that and think, right, is there anything obvious here as to why the singing might be out, might be flat or might be sharp or whatever? Because I don't think Freddie would be singing out of tune. He just had a great sense of pitch, and as soon as you start changing his voice with pitch correction, just loses everything. So yeah, this is why I said, I mean, it's not even really a tongue-in-cheek thing saying that I would like to be in charge of future Queen releases just to make sure this kind of thing doesn't happen again. Because if they're going to release more pitch-corrected songs, it's going to be awful. And they might not have even needed it in the first place. Well, they probably didn't need it, but they're not really spotting it. There would have definitely been a way to release Freddie's original vocal, because he wouldn't have been singing out of key or out of tune. So anyway, thank you for that, Cindy. And Nicole has donated £30 as well. Thank you for that, Nicole. And the message is, hello Phil, great pleasure to find it again on Wings of Pegasus. Health and safety for you and your family. So thank you for that. And Steve has donated £5. Thank you for that, Steve. And the message is, you recently said Stairway to Heaven is one of the greatest songs ever written. What are some other songs you would put on that list? So thank you for that, Steve. And yeah, I might have said that in a video. I'm not sure I said that recently, but yeah, I mean, when you're thinking about especially guitar-based songs, certainly Stairway to Heaven is one that is so famous, it's almost infamous, of, the whole Wayne's World scene where it says on the guitar shop wall, no stairway, because that's just what, it's just what I think a lot of people learn to play because it's such an iconic sound. But then you've got the whole copyright argument thing that went on about the intro. Anyway, we won't get into all of that. But so Stairway to Heaven. Okay, well, you guys know that More Than a Feeling. That is just such a great song from in my opinion, from every single perspective of having, great vocals, great guitars, and just great overall production. So yeah, I'd say that. Probably if I'm sticking on a guitar theme, Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix. That is used all the time. Like, this is the great thing about great songs, is they're timeless. So they're used in, TV shows all the time, and, they just suit so many scenes because, I don't know, just the feel of that particular performance at that time in the studio. And yeah, that song. So anyway, what have I said so far? So More Than a Feeling, Voodoo Child. I don't want to list loads and loads and loads of songs, but I'm going to throw Eruption in there by Van Halen, because I say Van Halen, the band, but by Eddie Van Halen, because even though I wasn't really aware of it when it first got released, because, it was a very long time ago now, but I think at the time, just Eddie Van Halen as a guitarist did so, and this is why so many players in the 80s just suddenly, there's just a boom in technical playing where everyone was working at tapping, alternate picking, and yeah, really pushing speed and technique to, the limits and beyond. But yeah, Van Halen as a band, their sound and Eddie's technique just, was totally different. And Eruption, for me, it still sounds like nothing else. because of the way that it's just played. And it's almost like it's in that same bracket of expression that I would say Voodoo Child is, where it's just got an expressiveness about it, where you can try and do a cover of the song, but it never sounds like the original, because you're never going to be able to nail that same expression that the player had at that time. And this is the thing about trying to copy somebody's playing. It's the hardest thing to do. It's the easiest thing to do is to do your own version of a song, or to do your own version of Eruption, which loads of people do. They throw in lots of other tapping or alternate picking or arpeggios where they didn't exist, because those techniques are techniques that guitarist likes to play because they can do them. But then trying to nail the phrasing of Eddie Van Halen's playing is nigh on impossible. So that's why people don't copy it exactly, because it's just so difficult to get it anywhere close. So there you go. What did I name? 3 songs or 4 songs? But anyway, I would say those. Those would be the ones that I'm picking from, well, kind of from a guitar angle, because I'd have to put Stairway to Heaven in that bracket of being a very well-known guitar piece, you could say, but something that a lot of people learn to play on the guitar and therefore play in guitar shops. It's great because that Wayne's World scene has now made it famous for being played in guitar shops. But anyway, so means nobody does it anymore. Thank you. Or if somebody does, somebody says no Stairway. So thank you for that, Steve. Right, Tammy's donated £10 as well. Thank you for that, Tammy. And the message is, hi Phil, congratulations on hitting 419,000 subscribers. That is absolutely mind-blowing. Keep up the excellent work. You're the best. Rock. So thank you for that, Tammy. And Debbie has donated £10 as well. So thank you for that, Debbie. And the message is, hi Phil, congrats on 419,000 subscribers. Great job explaining the pitch correction on Freddie Mercury's vocals and how the song could have been corrected. You are amazing. Love you, Debbie. So thank you for that. And there's another one that's just popped in here. And this is Sue, who has donated £25. So thank you for that, Sue. And the message is, Phil, your analysis videos have truly caused a ripple effect in the wider music industry. Maybe that will finally put the auto-tune trend into the dustbin of history. Keep shining your light, Sue. So thank you for that, Sue. And I'm not sure that auto-tune's quite in the bin or not a trend anymore, but I am working on a side project at the moment, which I've been working on for ages. I think at least since the beginning of the year. So what are we now, 9 months into it? And it's along these kinds of lines. And it's very much along those lines of when I started that petition, because a lot of people, not that I was taking that really that seriously, just people wanted to sign something to say that they didn't agree with pitch correction or auto-tune, or wanted to know at least when it was happening and all that kind of stuff. So I set it up because of that. But the thing that I'm working on as a side project, is taking a very long time to put together, but it might be something that once it's out there will help make things a little bit more transparent for especially people that are spending a lot of money on concert tickets. So that's the point of what I'm setting up. But it does take a long time to set something like what I'm setting up, to set it up. It's taking a long time because there's lots of things that I have to cover, and legal things as well. But it's all going in the right direction. So hopefully it won't be too much longer, but as you guys know, over on Patreon, as soon as I can say something about it, then I will. So thank you for this, Sue, for that donation. And Angela has donated £17.89. So thank you for that, Angela. And the message is, good evening, Phil. Been watching past live streams, so I have 2 questions. Why did the pick roulette end, and whatever became of the Wings of Pegasus Philly Flonker choc bars? Congrats on 419,000 subscribers. I see no end to the top of your mountain. Thanks. So thank you for that, Angela. And yes, back in the day, we used to have a pick roulette. The Philly Flonker chocolate bars, never came about because, unfortunately, it got to a point where I had to either stop having moderators on my live streams. I had to stop having moderators on my live streams and then being able to continue and choosing moderators that would do the job as I wanted it to be done, rather than the previous moderators, unfortunately. And I mean, this is all part of the pick roulette thing, is that I found that whenever and that was something that was organized by somebody called Carla, and unfortunately whenever you give, I don't know, a little bit of responsibility to somebody, if that person maybe has an argument with somebody else who doesn't know that they're not me, then they come back to me. And that was the problem, that it was starting to get really complicated, because people thought that the moderators who might be messaging other people kind of on my behalf, and I don't know what they're saying, they think that they were working on behalf of me and the channel. So then I'd get emails coming through of people that weren't particularly happy with how they'd been dealt with, and I was trying to explain to them, oh no, it's nothing to do with me, that's the person that organizes this or organizes that, and it's just part of the live streams. But it was just easier for me to say, right, from now on I'm going to stop the pick roulette, the chocolate, and there were all Wings of Pegasus ornaments, all this kind of stuff, and different t-shirts. I said, right, I'm going to stop all that, because I'm not making all that stuff. I'm just going to just be me, and if anybody's got a problem with anything, they will talk to me, so I can deal with it, so that I can make sure that everything is organized. And if there are any complaints about Wings of Pegasus, I know about them, because I'm talking to the person who might have the complaint. I mean, fortunately, since I drew that line in the sand and just started doing everything myself on the live streams, and got rid of those other things, thankfully I don't have any emails anymore from people complaining about how they've been dealt with and all that kind of stuff, because they're dealing with me. And if people do have a problem, it's very easy to sort out. But I'm much more into just the one-to-one interaction, because then at least I know what's going on. I think the problem with that is that when you've got other people messaging other people, and maybe they're talking in a way that makes them sound like they are from the channel and part of my business or whatever, but it wasn't that at all. It was just they were doing moderating on the live stream, so it doesn't mean that they were part of everything that I was doing. So that's why there's no longer those things at the end of the live stream. So it did get to a point where I either had to stop live streaming or do things a different way, and I just decided I didn't want to stop live streaming. So I thought, well, whatever I have to do in order to continue doing, even if it's getting rid of all the moderators and starting again, then that's what I'm going to do. And then starting again with moderators that are only looking at the comment section, and they're not involved with the channel at all. They're not making products, they're not trying to get people to join or subscribe or anything like that. They are literally just people that do moderating and don't have any other involvement with the channel, which is just how I decided to move forward. And I guess it's just a lesson that I learned, back then, and it's an important lesson probably for now, when we're looking at the kind of subscriber number and subscriber count that keeps on going up. It's really important for me to be in control of everything, because there are a lot of people now, and they all can talk to me, and I will deal with everything myself personally. Obviously it takes more time, but at least I know what's going on and can point people in the right direction and explain things if they need explaining. But like I said, I'm quite lucky on the channel that people seem to understand what I'm saying. Anyway, so thank you for that, Angela. Right. Karen has donated £5.42. Thank you for that, Karen. And the message is, hi Phil, congrats on hitting 419,000 subscribers. You're an inspiration to me with your dedication and perseverance. I loved your analysis on Freddie Mercury. Yes, what a sacrilege to pitch correct his vocals. Many thanks for all you do and for being you. Cheers, Karen. Thank you for that, Karen. I can see, oh, by the way, we've got the vote for tonight's cover video going on in that live stream, this live stream, and in that live chat room. And it's between Behind Blue Eyes and Miles Away. I remembered the other song, it's Miles Away. But Behind Blue Eyes is currently in the lead, and it has 55% of the vote. So, yeah, if you want to hear maybe a bit of Winger, because that's what Miles Away is, make sure that you vote for that one. Or we're going to have my version of the Who classic, Behind Blue Eyes. So, anyway, I can see that there have been other donations in the Super Chat window. Thank you guys for those. You don't have to donate, just watching is great, but the donations are very much appreciated. And let's have a look. Karen donated $10. Thank you for that, Karen. And the message is, greetings, Phil. Not sure if you heard, but REO Speedwagon is the latest to succumb to arguments. They're going to stop touring next year. So thank you for that, Karen. And no, I hadn't heard that. But this is the problem with, well, being in a band, but music in general is just people having different views of how they want to do things. And especially nowadays with, well, I guess back in the day, there would never be the potential argument of using auto-tune or using pitch correction and all this kind of tuning stuff live, because they just had to do it live, and that's just how they did it, and it's just assumed that you're just going to sing. Whereas, yeah, now you might have that point that bands reach where they are later on in their careers, and some people say, oh, well, let's just mime, or let's just auto-tune our vocals. But then you might have other people that say, well, no, I don't want to do that because artistically I don't agree with it. But and then you've got that as a discussion. But and then some people might say, or say, one member said, yeah, but look at the amount of money we could make and we don't even have to sing. You know, I mean, realistically, that is, you know, what's going on. That large bands, very popular bands, now have an option to get out there and perform. And because you don't have to state what you're doing, at least not yet, again, that goes into my side project, but at the moment, you don't have to state what you're doing. So it means that you can go and do a world tour if you want to, and you can mime and just let everybody assume that you're singing. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that breaks up loads of bands, because, yeah, there are loads of singers who are great singers and have that artistic integrity that they want to sing live. But, yeah, maybe some other band members don't want to do that. Who knows, especially with backing vocals, because it's very, more often than not, it's a case of everyone having to sing. When you're talking about bands who do have harmony lines that come in, you know, the other band members have got to sing as well. So, yeah, wouldn't be surprised. But that isn't what, you know, I've only just heard about REO Speedwagon, so that's not the reason that they're arguing, but arguments, yeah, can happen about anything, and nowadays that could definitely be something that bands will argue about potentially. Thank you, Vicky, as well, for this $5 donation, and that is Vicky's 20th donation in the Super Chat window, so thank you for that, Vicky. And the message is, I have to laugh, but how did we get on in the 50s and 60s and 70s with no pitch correction? All we heard was their unique voice, and we knew who it was. Rock! So thank you for that, Vicky. Oh, and I can't read what that is. The Annie Meist has says, do you perform at live venues? So thank you for that question. But thank you, Vicky, for that donation as well. And yeah, back in the day, they just did it. It's quite simple. And in order for you to be featured, you had to be as good as, if not perceivably better, because obviously that's subjective, than the other people who were actually doing it as well. So the bar was a lot higher. You couldn't rely on technology as you can now. But yeah, that's Annie Mai's question. At the moment, I'm not playing live. I have played live for how many years? Well, my first cover band was when I was 19. So that was a long time ago. So, yeah, glossing over how many years I've been playing live for. But yeah, I've played. So I was in, a cover band when I was 19. Then when I was 22, 23, that's when I had my first proper original band. And we play in and around, I'd say the Buckingham, Berkshire area, and occasionally going into London. Then in my late 20s is when I was playing with Wings of Pegasus. That's when I kind of learned to sing properly. Or at least I learned to sing as best I could. And yeah, then we gigged more in and around London, and we finished third in the UK's largest unsigned band competition. We did a UK tour, and in my early 30s, I'd say it must have been my early 30s now. So yeah, we're still talking 10 years ago. That's when, I'm just going to skip this advert. Yeah, so that's when I decided to take everything online because, unfortunately, the other members of the band, I mean, a couple of them were living in London, and rent is just ridiculously crazy. And with original music, you don't get paid for original gigs here in the UK. So it means that you're constantly working during the day. And I was teaching guitar, and I taught guitar for almost 20 years. And again, since things have become really busy, it just means that I don't have time to do things anymore. So the guitar teaching, I stopped doing that because it's just a time thing. And as for playing live, if something comes up that is something that I think is worth doing, for example, that gig with Taj Farrant that was going to be over in the USA, but then unfortunately the whole visa thing was going to take too long to come through, and so that couldn't happen. But I've mentioned on the live streams before that when Taj is over in the UK, then we'll probably do a show together. But I'll let you guys know as and when that might happen, because there's nothing that's set at the moment, even though Brandon, Taj's dad, says that he would like Taj to come over and tour the UK next year sometime. So yes, we will see, but I never say never. At the moment, it's just physically something I haven't got time for, unfortunately. Just keeping up with everything is a bit crazy because it's just me doing everything. This is what people don't necessarily realise or appreciate, that every time an email is answered, that's me writing that out. So I get quite a lot of messages every day, but I try to keep up with them as best I can, and that's why I have 2 full admin days during the week on a Monday and a Thursday. But anyway, yes, thank you for that, and previously thank you for that, Vicky. And the Annie Mice says, wow, thanks for the backgrounder and info. No problem at all. And on my music, if you want to check that out, is over at wingsofpegasus.com/music, and my bio's there as well, where you've got other people in the industry who know me and have heard my music and all that kind of stuff. But I'm intentionally staying outside of the industry, even though I know people in the industry, and I know a lot of people that people would know and recognize their names, but name dropping is one of those things that I don't really like to do. But I intentionally stay outside of the industry because I don't want to get involved. And when people, this is what entertains me, when people say, oh, what have you ever done? How come you haven't got a record deal? And they don't realize that a record deal is a loan. You have to pay it back. So I would rather sell my music on my website, and obviously I own all of my publishing, so it means that I get the money for every single download, every single stream, every single album sale. I get the money for that. So that's how I do what I do. And it means that I need to sell a hell of a lot less than a signed artist to make the same, if not more money than they do. Because when you sign a record deal, you're signing away 90%, 95% sometimes of everything. You're publishing as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if record labels now try and grab all of the publishing, so you're not getting any royalties for your songs. So this is why, if you own everything yourself, obviously it's a lot of work to get yourself out there and to get people buying your music and to become relatively known enough. But that's what it is. So that's what I've spent pretty much my whole life doing, is getting my music out there, getting my band out there, getting my name out there. And when I was on Twitter, I've said before that I messaged over 100,000 people individually over the course of 3 years, maybe, just asking them to check out my music. And I just hammered away at that every day. And I was just finding people that were following maybe Bon Jovi, Winger, or Van Halen fans, going to groups on Facebook, all this kind of stuff. So this is it. I just kind of kept doing it over and over and over and over. And if you do that relentlessly every day, you do build up some kind of following where people have bought your music and they might like it. And therefore you start to make a little bit of an income from it. And that's just all bonus, money added to because I was teaching at the same time. So yeah, it's hard work. But eventually when you have, for example, potentially hundreds of thousands of people watching you and maybe then checking out your music, then obviously it becomes a lot more profitable because you own everything yourself. So yeah, you don't have to sell that many albums to then be making a living from it. So yeah, and this is why everybody getting involved here is amazing. And thank you guys for tuning in to the live streams. And I know that a lot of people watch the analysis videos, but again, those all started because of my background. People knew me as a singer and a guitarist, and had listened to my music, and they asked me to check out this performance and explain what a guitarist was doing, for example. And that's what I did. And it all started from there. And it just so happens that, it's a bit like that movie Taken. Over the years, I have a very specific set of skills now that are, very, well, they're unique to me in terms of the pitch monitoring software and the production. I started that when I was 19. I started, working with Cubase SX. And I self-produced my album. So, all of that background with production and, performing live and singing, playing guitar, teaching guitar, all that kind of stuff means that I have a very specific set of skills. So when it comes to doing an analysis video, there are multiple angles that I can look at this piece of musical information from, and I can dissect it in lots of different ways. And yeah, unfortunately, it means that whenever there's pitch correction or auto-tune, I hear it straight away. My ears will hear A440 standard pitch immediately. So I don't even need to do an analysis or pitch analysis of it. I can hear when it's being applied. So obviously, the pitch lines is so that people on screen can see what I hear. But anyway, Julesy said, is like that guy in Taken, laugh out loud. So, yeah. Liam Neeson from Taken. So thank you for this donation. Melody Matters, who's donated $5 in that super chat window. The message is miles away as seen from behind blue eyes. Decisions, both excellent covers. It's hard to choose. So thank you for that. And that was Melody Matters' third donation in that super chat window. So thank you for that. Right. Let's have a look. It is Behind Blue Eyes that has 58% of the vote at the moment. So, yes, if you want to hear a little bit of Winger and Miles Away, then you'll have to get voting in that. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, I don't know how much time it's going to take to reverse that because it's already midnight. But, yeah, it's going to have to get a lot of votes. Miles Away. So we will see, but we'll be jumping into that relatively soon. We also have, I can see, almost reached the likes goal for tonight of 500. We've got 3 more people that have to get involved and hit that thumbs up. And if you're watching this in the future, by the way, on catch up, you can keep hitting that thumbs up. It really does help this live stream to get out there and for the channel to grow. So let's just jump over to the PayPal window because there's been a little bit of action in there. A couple more donations. Ian has donated £10. Thank you for that, Ian. And the message is, in the early days of CD, there was an issue about digital recording and mastering. There was a labelling system from AAA, AAA, all analog, to DDD, Triple D, all digital. Would similar idea work on material now to indicate auto-tune and pitch correction? So thank you for that, Ian. Yeah, I'm not sure. The problem, this is the irony, that now what you have with vinyl and having a physical record that is released. Unfortunately, I mean, back in the day, yeah, it was all analog, so everything was done with tape, and then obviously it's pressed so that they then released a record, and you had that analog recording on a record. Now what's happening is they are recording a song digitally and using pitch correction, and then putting that on a record. So it means that even if you're buying an actual vinyl of, and vinyl is now becoming I was going to say all the rage. I'm not sure if it's quite there yet, but certainly people are buying vinyl versions of digital releases that are effectively just a pitch corrected vocal. You're not, like, for example, if you get a vinyl version of a song, that's not going to be analog. It's not going to be without the technology. They're just effectively pressing it onto a different, instead of putting it on a USB stick, they're putting it on a record. Instead of uploading it to Spotify, they're just putting it on a record. It's exactly the same audio file. So yeah, this is it. That I don't know. People maybe don't realise that's what's going on. So, but back to the question that Ian has posed. So yeah, the problem is going to be that record labels are not going to go back to analog. They're not going to go back to, even back to vari-speed, for example, where the vocals back in the day could be sped up or slowed down to pitch because it's just not accurate enough. Back in the day, singers had to be able to sing on pitch accurately. They couldn't have every vowel pitch corrected, which is what's happening now. So, if you've never used pitch correction or Melodyne, you can isolate the consonant from the vowel of every word, and the consonant, it doesn't matter really where that pitch is happening because it's, the vowel is the note. That's always going to be the case. So if I say pitch, for example, the p, 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 what pitch is that? P, p. It's not. It's giving you, I mean, technically it does have a pitch, but it's a noise. We associate it with a noise, not a collection of pitches that is, the exhalation of air that has been resisted, because you build it up, you go p, and then you allow the release of air. So anyway, that doesn't have a pitch. But if I say, for golf, for example, if I say pa, pa, the R vowel, that is where the note is. So anyway, with Melodyne, what you do now is you separate the p from the and you move the R wherever you want it to be, whichever note you want to try and hit, or whichever note it now needs to hit in order to be more accurate. But back in the day, you couldn't do it in that detail. You had to sing the whole vocal phrase in key, or if they were going to speed it up, you had to be able to sing it the semitone flat, for example. You still needed that ability. So this is why they're never going to go back to analog and using tape, for example, without the digital manipulation that is possible, because they wouldn't be able to get the same quality of product. Unfortunately, that's just what it comes down to. The reason it's used, the reason it is an industry standard now, it's applied to everything, every artist, every vocalist, is because if it wasn't applied, then they would lose a lot of money, because people would say, oh, I didn't really like that because that singer's too pitchy, it grates on the ears. So and then it would go back to the old days where the better singers appealed to more people because they were more accurate with their voice. So now in terms of a labeling system, so they're never going to go back. In terms of a labeling system, there'd be way too much resistance from the music industry. They're just, even trying to make it law, there'd be too much resistance, so it wouldn't ever come in. What would need to happen, and again, leaning towards my side project here, what would need to happen is somebody who might have a relatively large following, who is known for pointing out things where pitch correction and auto-tune may be used. What could happen in the future is if somebody like that started up something that people could get behind and maybe make an industry standard, then yeah, I mean, that's the way of doing it. And yeah, Ian, I am working on that as a side project, and it's turning into more of a like main project with everything that I do on the channel, because yeah, I'm spending a lot of time on it, but it's going to take a lot of time to organize. But it would address this exact thing, so that people would know exactly what they are spending their money on and what a vocalist is doing with their voice. Because I think that's what, you know, some people just want to support original artists who are genuinely singing and have that vocal ability, and other people might like pitch corrected vocals and auto-tune vocals, and yeah, they can still spend their money on that. It's absolutely fine. But for those people that want to be able to differentiate between, you know, one artist and another, which, you know, singers are actually singing without that digital manipulation of pitch, then they will be able to find that out in the future. But yeah, I am working on it. Obviously, yeah, I'm very busy at the moment with everything. So the busier I am, the more people that are watching the videos, obviously, the more time I'm struggling to find more time to spend on the side project. But it is something I think that's really important. So I was working on it yesterday, for example. So yeah, I am keeping on pushing forward with that. But thank you for that, Ian. So yeah, in short, I don't think this is something that would ever take off. There'll be too much resistance to it, but I am working on something that's going to be achieving effectively the same thing. Vera has donated £7.16. Thank you for that, Vera. And the message is, hi Phil, your video on Freddie Mercury was great. I was so upset that they did that to Freddie's voice. Another thing, you are so correct about honesty. It has always been and always will be the best policy. I certainly respect your honesty. Congratulations on 419,000 subscribers, Vera. So thank you for that. And Kim has donated £2.64. So thank you for that, Kim. The message is, hi Phil, your channel is really blowing up now. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. You mentioned not too long ago that you were working on developing a new guitar course, or perhaps something in addition to the one you already have posted. Is that still something you're working on? So thank you for that, Kim. And not at the moment. And again, this is the problem with not having a lot of time and me doing everything myself, is that yeah, my focus shifted from that guitar course. I got into organising the different modules, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, then I think probably what happened was I started working on that, but then things went a bit crazy on the channel, and it went so crazy that people were, obviously people want guitar lessons all the time, and there are loads of guitar courses out there, but my focus shifted from that to, well, what is being done for people to know what they're buying in the music industry? And I thought, well, there isn't anything for that. That there aren't loads of courses that you can go and do. I know that people would appreciate a guitar course from me, which I'm very thankful that people would respect my opinion and my teaching methods on that. But the other side of it, just the music industry in general, I mean, it's a huge question to pose to why people aren't informed about what they're getting when they're buying something. So yeah, I thought that was a huge thing, and I thought, well, is it more important to do a guitar course, or more important to have vocal transparency with people that are buying or maybe spending thousands of pounds on tickets to go and see a band live, and then they mime and the people don't realise that they're miming. So I thought, well, yeah, for me that's like, I don't know, an ethical issue there on the other side. So it was something that I thought was actually a lot more important than, putting together a guitar course. Yeah, it would be great to have that, but this other thing, I thought, well, yeah, I get so many messages from people, especially just after an analysis video, that say, oh, I can't believe that this was not what I thought it was, and that I spent money on going to watch it live, because if I had known, I wouldn't have gone. I wouldn't have spent that money, and they would have had, like £1,500 more money, because they didn't realize what they were actually going to be listening to. So yeah, so it's something that's maybe on the back burner. It just really depends how much this new project is going to take up of my time, and it might be something that, yeah, if it does take off, takes up a lot of my time. But I think personally it's worth doing to make sure people that make sure that people understand and appreciate, you know, what they're actually listening to, but also to have a little bit of transparency in the music industry, because there's just zero of that at the moment. And as I showed recently on my channel, if anything, the people that have been, you know, objectively shown to be miming, then double down and get even deeper into their rabbit hole of still denying it. But it's just objective fact, unfortunately. So yeah, they just get deeper and deeper, and then there's no way back from there and no way out of that hole anymore. But anyway, right, we are going to be jumping into tonight's cover video. So let's jump over to the vote. I can see it's Behind Blue Eyes that is in the lead at the moment. So let me see. It is Behind Blue Eyes that has 58% of the vote. So thank you guys for voting for that. Of course, it's going to be my version of the Who classic. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you after. Rock!
No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind blue eyes. No one knows what it's like to be hated, to be fated, to telling only lies. But my dreams, they aren't as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours only lonely, but
And there we have it. That was my version of Behind Blue Eyes by The Who. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. And right, I should look at the FilJam to see how long it's going to be. Oh, 6 minutes and 43 seconds. So we still got time to fit that in. And there's been another donation in the super chat window. So thank you for this, Ken. And the donation is $5. Thank you for that. The message is, please add Lucy Unai, I don't know how to say that, song to your analysis videos. Nelly, is that Nella, Fantasia, or Time to Say Goodbye? It's very small on my screen, so sometimes I's look like L's and vice versa. So I'll have to look at that more closely after the live stream. But thank you, Ken, for that donation. And I did see in that live chat room some people sometimes throw in a comment, and I know that it's sarcasm, saying, oh, he uses auto-tune or he's pitch corrected. I don't use auto-tune or pitch correction on my voice. And for the videos, because I do everything myself, and for the cover videos, I only had one camera. So it means that I have to record me singing, and then I'd have to record me doing the backing vocals, and then I'd have to record me doing like the guitar, and then I have to, so every time I've got to go back in front of the camera. So because of the nature of the cover videos, it's literally impossible for me to play everything all at once live because I can't move around there. So I think a lot of people appreciate that I'm not saying that I'm doing everything all at the same time. I build up the track from scratch. So that means I start out, and I've explained this in previous live streams, start out with drums and then bass and then guitar and then probably lead vocal and then backing vocals, and then if there are any guitar solos. That guitar solo, it isn't strictly true of the Who's version of the song, but I decided to put it in there anyway. So there you go. But yeah, I don't use pitch correction or auto-tune. It's just not something that I want to do because I learned to sing. So I'd rather just use the voice that I've learned to use, and the pitch that I've learned to hit, so that at least I can say, well, yeah, it is me singing. There's no digital manipulation from a pitch perspective on the notes that I'm hitting. So yeah, that is that. Anyway, Joe says, at least you remember to wear the same clothes for each take. So thank you for that. And yeah, when I was doing the cover videos, I would just do it for ages. So I would have an evening, and usually going into the early hours in the morning, but I'd just make sure I got all of the shots, and this is why once you've done the shot of the vocal and then the shot of sometimes I did a different shot for the backing vocals, so that at least in the video it didn't just look like me again singing, or at least the same footage. So then I did another one of those, then I'd do probably 1 or 2 shots of the rhythm guitar, and then I'd do maybe 1 or 2 shots of the lead guitar. And this is the thing about making videos, is that it's a whole different mindset. You've got to try and see it from the point of view of the final video. You think, well, I don't know, just staying on one shot for, well, first of all, staying on one shot for 3 or 4 minutes, I think that might be misleading, because people might think that it's all happening at that time. And I know that people on YouTube sometimes do that, but I am conscious of that. So I do lots of different cuts. And sometimes, I might not be holding a guitar when I'm doing a backing vocal to show that this isn't all happening at the same time. And I'm cutting between lots of different kind of angles and shots of the guitar. So the final video looks nice to watch, but I'm not pretending that I'm just kind of sitting in the studio with the mic and doing it all in one shot, but then actually it's all a backing track, and the vocals aren't even live and all that kind of stuff. Whereas I want to make sure that there's no confusion on that with my cover videos. So I think hopefully people understand it from that point of view. I can't harmonize with myself while I'm singing because I'd need myself. Like some people say, I need to clone myself in order to get those backing vocals happening at the same time. Anyway, let's... there's been another donation in. the super chat window. It is Fuzzball who has donated €2, and the message is love your show, never give up, please. So thank you for that. And yeah, I'll keep on pushing forward. And well, the thing is, all I'm doing on the channel really is just objective analysis videos. So yeah, there's no real problem with it. Obviously, people's subjective opinions of the videos is up to them. But they are what they are, quite literally. Lynn has donated £53.67. Thank you for that, Lynn. And the message is, thanks for pointing out pitch corrected and mimed vocals. It's appreciated. So, no problem. Thank you for that donation, Lynn. Right. Oh, hang on. Right, we're going to have to jump into this. The FilJam. And by the way, on every live stream when we do hit the likes goal, I do play my guitar live. I'm not miming that. So, yeah, that is one thing. And I'm playing over a backing track that Joe has sent me. And, yeah, Joe's backing tracks are entirely random, as we know, because we've had all kinds of genres and different things going on. So we are grabbing the gem. That's what it says. I haven't even got a pick, so I should have... Oh, I'm going to grab this one, which actually isn't ideal, but it'll have to do. Right, let's get that there. So let me get this going and mute the advert. Oh, I can't hear anything. I sometimes hear the advert. So when I'm playing through this, if you guys can let me know what the levels are like, that would be good. Oh, let's zoom out as well. Right, so this is power metal European style backing track in D minor, and then a line BT-214, backing track number 214. And this comes from N&M Creation, and those are just the letters, space, creation with a capital C. So I couldn't hear the advert, so let me see if I can actually hear this. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Okay, right, I'll have a go at this. But the foot pedal is just... it's difficult to hear. Because the foot pedal's going all the time. Yeah, I can't really hear this. came to the end. Oh, it's just a fade out. And there we have it. So, well, that was just a whole lot of foot pedal. So hopefully, because I've got a sub here, it means that the lower frequencies, you know, like bass and foot pedal, do pop. You know, they do come out quite a lot. So it means that I was getting just the whole time. So hopefully what I was playing kind of went with it. But yeah, it's all a little bit crazy with that particular power metal European style backing track in D minor, BT, line BT 214. And at some point through that, I don't know which string it was, but I might have slipped off because my hands are starting to sweat because they're moving so quickly all the time. Certainly not a style that I play, but there you go. And I actually thought that, I mean, these strings are going to go at some point, so I don't know whether it was connected to that. It probably just more sweat than the string starting to give out a little bit, but it will happen sometime during a live stream. I'm sure that these strings are going to give up, but for now they're okay. So that was power metal European style backing track in D minor, BT 214 from N&M Creation. So if you guys want to check that out yourself, then you can do. And I guess, yeah, I'm not sure what that would be good for, unless you're just kind of, you know, practicing arpeggios or alternate picking, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, in terms of kind of jamming over the top of it, you don't really have too many options because it's all, that foot pedal's just pushing it along ridiculously quickly. So anyway, that was that. Right, we are going to be calling things to a close. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Right, I'm going to be here with another video tomorrow night, of course, so look out for that one. I'm going to be live streaming on Saturday night, so yeah, hopefully you guys can make it then as well, because we will be going for a new record on Saturday night of likes. So we will see if we can hit that target or not. So we need every single person possible to turn up and hit that thumbs up. But thank you guys for doing that tonight. And all that's left for me to say is try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live. And have a great rest of your week. And I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!